All right, ladies, we have the amazing CHERISE here. She is a first-time lasher. We spoke briefly so far, and this is all will be edited, okay? So it's okay if it's choppy and everything. We spoke briefly so far, and apparently she has a beautiful testimony to share with us all that we can definitely pull strength from. So I'm going to hand the mic, the mic essentially over to CHERISE for her to share and share with us what she'd like to tell us. Okay, CHERISE, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about you and your story.
Hello. I am 61 years old.
What?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, guys, you guys need to see her.
With two daughters.
Oh, wow.
Married 30 years.
Oh, beautiful.
And so on this journey of parenthood, you know, you learn how to essentially take care of them, because remember, there's no book with parenting, but in all of that, you kind of lose yourself. So you have to learn how to nurture yourself. So I was a commuter. I live in New Jersey, commuting to New York, going to school at night, taking care of my mom, going to church in the Bronx. So there you have it. Everyday activities, and the girls had activities as well. But I was not feeding myself properly. So therefore, I was inflicted with the autoimmune.
Oh, which one?
Lupus.
Oh, wow.
And for those of us that know anything about lupus, mine was diagnosed back in 2003. It wasn't talked about. All you knew was death. People were dying from it, and I had to make a decision. They were 2 and 4 that was not going to happen.
Wait, you said they were 2 and 4? Say
yes,
it again?
My daughters were 2 and 4 years of age.
That was not going to happen.
That's right. That was not going to happen. And so I was in search of answers, and of course, there weren't many, if any. But I came across a company called Hallelujah Acres, based out of Shelby, North Carolina. And they showed me how you can rejuvenate your cells from the inside out. Because as you know, every autoimmune doesn't go away, but you can put it at bay. You can slow it down so that you don't have these things taking havoc over in your body. And so I learned that. I learned that eating more fresh fruits and vegetables, staying away from the processed food, trying to manage my stress as best as possible. But more importantly, learning that sleep is essential. Without proper sleep, your body can't heal. Because as long as we're up and we're moving, our mind is going, so our body's trying to accommodate all the things that we're thinking about, we're moving about, we're eating. And so I had to learn how to better manage all of those things, along with having 2 small children and everything else that went on in my life, and a husband, yes, and being active in our church. And so that was part of everyday life. So you learn to put it on, but you had to figure it out. So I learned that sleeping was important. So we got better sleep. You know, I no longer was operating on 4 to 5 hours of sleep. I learned how to get 6 and 7 when needed. I had to learn how to breathe, you know, as adults.
You mean the deep breaths?
Deep breaths.
Yeah.
Deep breaths. Because as adults, somehow we...
Shallow breaths.
We shadow. You know, we take puffs. That's what I call them. They're not real breaths.
They're not.
You know, I don't know at what age did we decide that breathing wasn't essential. Because as babies, we got it. But it's somehow, as we start to grow up, we tend to keep it inside. We keep just stuffing it and holding it. And it doesn't do us any good, because it comes out in other ways. And so those are the keys and the tools that I learned in order to make me stronger from the inside out. I learned that I can regenerate my cells in 72 hours, which is 3 days. If I'm feeding it properly.
Okay. Are you using your mind, or you're using your mind and also intake?
That's right.
Intake. Yep.
That's right. That's why it's mind, body, and soul. You know, because everything starts with a mindset.
Sure does.
You have to make the decision. I made the decision that I was going to live and not die. Then after that, I had to seek the decisions that I was looking for. Help in how to become stronger, how to build myself up from the inside, how to change my mindset, change my language, change my words, and be accountable and not be concerned about what everyone else has to say. Because, of course, many people was like, well, what do you mean you don't eat that anymore? What do you mean you're not doing that anymore? I said, because it's not benefiting me. It's not serving me. I have a purpose, you know, not only to be someone's mother, but to fulfill the purpose that God put into me. You know, being a mother is just one hat. You know, we also wear many. We juggle many. We operate many. But if your mindset is not clear and is not stable, your foundation is not stable. You know, think of yourself as a tree. It's a seed that's planted. God gives the water and the sunshine for you to grow and stand tall and be strong. And then your arms and your legs are the branches in order for you to keep moving, in order for you to be able to dispense and give to others. But first, your foundation has to be strong, has to be sturdy. And so those are the things that I learned for myself. And so what I realized is that many of us, and I don't want to say just women because there are men doing it too, that are raising families, that are doing multiple things, but somehow we continuously put ourselves at the end of the list. Well, we have to go back to, if you were on a plane, they say put your oxygen mask on first, and then you can help somebody else. So we have to learn that. You know, I used to learn that I had to feed myself first. Then I can feed my children and I can feed anyone else that needed to be fed and nurtured in my path. But, you know, it's a mindset change because that's not what we used to. We so used to operating broken, unhealed, dissatisfied. And I had to know, no, I'm first. I need to be healed.
And that's okay.
That's right. And it is.
Okay.
It is.
Because some mothers feel ashamed for putting themselves first, right? There's a stigma. Okay. Go ahead.
But that's something that we need to share more of, you know, if they're willing to listen. And like I said, here I am at 61. The diagnosis came at 41.
Wow.
So I tell people it can be done. It's just like taking a bite of an apple. You never shove the whole apple in your mouth. I don't care how small the apple is. You take a bite. You chew it. And once it's dissolved, then you take another bite. So master one thing at a time. And that's what I had to do. I had to master sleep first so that my body can heal. Once I mastered that and learned sleep when the kids sleep, sleep when they go to activities, you know, everybody's going to bed at 8 o'clock. Not you go to bed at 8 o'clock and now I'm up to 10, 11 o'clock. Certain things can wait. Prioritize. If it's not going to kill you, it'll be okay the next day to pick it up. You know, we had to learn balance. And so once I was able to maneuver those things and master them well, then I was able to move on to the eating. I gave up eating beef, pork, processed foods. At this time, I no longer eat chicken, but when I first started out, I was eating chicken and fish. But knowledge is power. As you go on, as the environment changes, you look around, you see things are not being grown the way they used to. And so now I've decided to be plant-based because that's what my body desires. That's what's needed. That's the fuel that makes my engine run.
Exactly.
You know, so everyone has to decide what's best for them.
Their body.
You know, but a mindset change has to be done across the board. And you have to be consistent with it. Because only you will be able to thrive and to be able to help others with your consistency. But if you're weaning back and forth and wavering to and fro, your foundation is weak. And when you are a parent, you always have those eyes watching you. You know, not necessarily, they may not be saying, I want to be like mommy and daddy, but they're watching you. They're watching everything you do, everything you say, everything you eat, how you dress. So you want to set the stage for them. And I did that for my daughters. Beautiful. They never had processed meat. Ooh. You know, they never had beef or pork. Now, when they went off to college, that's a different story. That's on them. But from grades 1 through 12, I made sure that they had what they needed. Fresh juices, a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables, salads, things that were going to nourish their brain, keep their skin healthy, you know.
And that takes work in and of itself.
Yes, it does. Prep. Yes, so to get there,
I guess you had to have the determination to live, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Yes, I did. I never forget the day I came home and I told my husband, I was just like, guess what? I'm not going to eat this anymore, and I'm not doing this anymore, and I'm not doing that. Now, mind you, we love to go to restaurants. We love to eat out. Yeah. But I told him, I don't know what they're putting in the food. So I have to tailor back on that right now. And that was an adjustment. I'm sure. You know, because he kept saying, well, you know, what about us? And I said, the truth of the matter is there are no his and her caskets. Ooh. I'm the one with the diagnosis.
Ooh, girl.
I'm the one that's feeling pain every now and then.
Wow.
I love you, but the truth of the matter is you don't feel what I feel.
Wow.
You have empathy for me and sympathy, but you don't feel what I feel.
Wow.
And I said, and this is what I have to do.
Yeah, you got to do this for you.
I got to do this for me.
Wow.
And I already had parent issues from a child. My father died when I was 6. He went to work and never came back home. So that wasn't going to happen.
Like, that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
It's not an option. It's not an option. So I went all in. I went all in. And I find it very challenging to understand some of the parents now who say, oh, my child doesn't like to eat this, or they don't like to eat that. How do you know until you've tried it? And that's my thing. Try it first. And if you don't like it, then we got to figure out how can we get it to taste more flavorful for you. But if I know that this is better for you than eating some of the other things, you don't have a choice.
Shouldn't even be an option.
It's not an option. My daughters could tell you they had to drink juice every day before they left for school. Or you going to be late. You know? I sent them with school lunch. Was it easy?
No.
Absolutely not.
No, it's not.
You know, because I had one that could care less whether it was cold or hot. But the other one wanted hot lunch. So we looking for the thermos, how we going to keep it warm, because lunch ain't until this hour. You know, you do what you have to do. But I was determined that I was going to give them a foundation that was different from mine. I realized my mother didn't know.
Exactly.
She gave me the best she had.
Exactly.
And I don't complain about it, and I don't regret it, because it made me stronger.
Exactly. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to pause here, okay?